covering the islands of the Bahamas. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, the Ministry of Finance has begun to collect data which will tell its assessment teams just how much of an impact months of roadworks has had on businesses and how the government may offer them financial assistance. Yesterday, Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham made the pledge of unspecified financial assistance to persons, including the plaintiffs in a class action lawsuit which is pending before the courts. Today, we asked State Minister for Finance, the Honorable Shivargo Lang, just what applicants can expect from the government once the evaluation is complete. It's been a bumpy ride for scores of business persons since roadworks began, but today they have an assurance from the government that financial assistance is available. Today, Minister of State for Finance Shivargo Lang detailed what that assistance will mean and what it will not.
There is no claim on the part of government of liability, so that you say to me, well, you cost me X amount of dollars, I'm going to therefore require you to pay X amount of dollars. Says if that were true, you have people throughout the country who have had roads put in their communities, who have had schools amalgamated in their community. If somebody said, you know, I'm a small business person and this is how I was affected to the tune of maybe $5,000, you say, well, you know, I have a Jumpstart program. Why don't you apply for that? And so they might submit an invoice for this amount of material to be resourced in their business or to pay this light bill or so forth, and you're able to do that as a consequence of the Jumpstart program.
Minister Lang says it's hard to estimate any figure for payments or how many businesses may qualify to make claims, but the government is on its guard for false claims based on past experience.
You have people who are out there claiming that they have been affected to this amount of dollars when their business license returns never came close to that kind of sum, which means one of two things happened. They either were trying to defraud the government, or that the claim that they are making is not consistent with what they have been reporting.
Considering the legal defense the government has had to stage before the courts, we asked Minister Lang to respond to those who may see this assistance as a concession of wrongdoing.
It's not a concession of wrongdoing. It's an acknowledgement that in the course of doing public works, that you can affect members of the society.
Now, the Democratic National Alliance is questioning the government's motive of providing financial assistance at this time. The party's candidate for Mount Moriah, Wayne Monroe, is critical of the proposal.
A year ago, I'm appealing your award of damages. Now that the election is coming, let me give you some of your money, and you must smile on me. That is the sort of irresponsible behavior that we have seen election after election from the PLP, from the FNM, and it must change.
More than $600,000 has been allocated for a technical cooperation agreement between the Inter-American Development Bank and the government to assist in small business development. Today, the agreement was signed between the government, IDB, and Bahamas Chamber of Commerce. The IDB will provide $435,000, the government $125,000, the Chamber of Commerce $52,000, along with a multilateral investment fund's contribution of $50,000, making for a grand total of $662,000 in funding. State Minister for Finance Shivargo Lang.
Principal objective of the program is to develop a comprehensive and coherent institutional framework to support Bahamian small and medium-sized enterprises, including those in the Family Islands. Furthermore, the program seeks to increase the competitiveness of the Bahamas by increasing productivity in the sectors that represent the majority of firms, and by diversifying economic activity.
The government began the process today, as we told you, of assisting those businesses negatively impacted by the infrastructural upgrades of the New Providence Road Improvement Project. Prime Minister Ingram made the announcement last night as he opened the Free National Movement's Carmichael constituency headquarters. Mr. Ingram also provided an update on the North Andros hearing regarding possible voter fraud, which will continue this Friday. Clint Watson has that.
The upgraded road improvement project is expected to make commute quicker and easier for motorists, particularly those in the Southwest District who can transition from Carmichael to Saunders Beach in a matter of minutes. Very soon, they'll be able to travel from Gladstone Road to Cable Beach, and in a promised next term in office, the government will expand Cowpen Road to Coral Harbor. But these upgrades during construction phase have impacted not only motorists, but some small businesses. Prime Minister Hubert Ingram confirmed that a contingent from the Ministry of Finance started a survey Wednesday to determine the impact among operating and temporarily closed establishments.
The results of the survey will help to determine how best we might lend economic or financial assistance to those businesses adversely impacted by the works. We expect that the survey portion of this exercise will last for 2 weeks. Thereafter, the information gathered will be analysed and determination made on the assistance to be offered by the government to affected businesses. I ask all businesses to cooperate and tell us the truth.
The Prime Minister then turned to an issue involving voters who may not be registered in the right constituency. He urged these individuals to transfer to the correct areas. Also referring to the hearing underway of possible voter fraud in North Andros, the Prime Minister revealed that out of the 30 voters being challenged, some persons have already removed their names.
Since that date, 4 of them have already stepped forward voluntarily, requested their registration be transferred to the constituency where they in fact live. And they have been transferred. 5 others, not included in the list of the 30 challenges, only heard of what we're doing, have now come forward and requested for them to be transferred to the constituency where they live. And still another 4 have come forward and requested to be transferred, and they are being transferred.
The Free National Movement leader has gone on record noting this election is about leadership. He says the lessons of history are clear and the difference between success and failure is leadership.
For 5 long years, the country's progress stalled. For 5 years, the Christie cabinet ran amok as they lied to and bamboozled their leader, Perry Christie. He failed to introduce the national health insurance because he failed to lead. He failed to build a national stadium because he failed to lead. He failed to get Barmer off the ground because he failed to lead. He failed to finish the New Providence Road waterworks and infrastructure upgrade because he failed to lead. He failed to house our straw vendors in the new market because he failed to lead. He failed to build a single school in 5 years because he failed to lead. Christie likes to give speeches, but lead he never will.
Prime Minister Ingram believes to effectively address the major issues of jobs, economic recovery, and crime in the Bahamas would require a leader who does less talking but delivers more.
At the Carmichael constituency headquarters opening, I'm Clint Watson for ZNS Evening.
Endorsing the FNM's candidate for Carmichael, Darren Cash, were many of his College of the Bahamas schoolmates, now in politics like Kenyatta Gibson, Shivago Lang, Charles Maynard, and Michael Pintard. Mr. Cash says economic empowerment of Bahamians, public service reform, education, and youth development are his priorities, along with immigration.
You see, I've been meeting with schools in the constituency, and let me tell you, that as hard as we have worked to improve our school systems, our educators are determined to do better. Throughout this campaign, I've told the people that I intend to make both legal and illegal immigration a core priority when I am elected. And I can confidently say to you, Carmichael, that there's no one in this race for Carmichael that has been more of an advocate for Bahamianization than I have been. But a new day requires a new approach.
Now, Mr. Cash painted the election as a choice between one party which could not move out of the consultation phase into delivery and one with a clear record of delivery. And based on that, he says, Carmichael is staying red.
As many as 6 people affected in ways requiring medical attention. One such person was the young daughter of Peter Turnquest.
We apologize. That was the wrong soundbite there. Well, Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham also addressed the issue of violence following reports of alleged attacks on his party supporters this past weekend. He provided an update on those injured, and made it clear that the FNM will not tolerate violence from its own supporters or anyone else. Mr. Ingraham was disappointed the opposition leader was, in his words, not clear on condoning these acts.
As many as 6 people affected in ways requiring medical attention. One such person was the young daughter of Peter Turnquest, East Grand Bahama candidate. Another was a lady whose asthma was badly affected and who continues to experience respiratory problems. Several others are experiencing headaches, fatigue, and eye and throat discomfort, requiring them to take antibiotics and in some instances to remain away from their jobs. Let me say a couple of things. First of all, there ain't no fire extinguisher big enough.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, we'll tell you why Renee Sherman was back in court today and police probe murder number 26. That's after the break.